Good morning y buenos dias. Welcome back to another episode of Cafecito y Croquetas. Happy Monday.
Feliz lunes.
Cafecito y Croquetas is another show produced by Stay Tranquilo, brought to you by H&Co. So thank you, as always, to our partners over at H&Co. But it is Monday.
Yeah, we're back, man.
Coming back from Halloween weekend. It was a good weekend. How was your weekend?
It was a solid weekend. The weather was amazing.
Yeah,
that was
weather
a big
was
thing.
great. We got that
Weather
fall
was
time
great.
weather for
It looked like a
Halloween.
lot of people had a good time. You know, the kids got their candy. The adults got to go out, party a little bit, you know, do some cool costumes. I saw some fantastic costumes out there.
Yes, great costume.
Overall, I mean, I think it was a great weekend to, kick off the next part of the season, which is now, you get into the November Thanksgiving season.
Yep.
Now you really dive into
we're
the fall
officially in
season.
Thanksgiving. Yeah.
But I mean, overall, man, it was a great time. I'm happy to be here back on a Monday.
Yeah,
After
absolutely.
a much needed rest on Sunday.
Yes.
Everyone slept in on Sunday. for sure.
No, out there back to back on Friday and
Back-to-back,
Saturday.
right?
It was a long Halloween weekend. We're back in the groove of things. We're getting ready now. It's crazy to even say. It's the holiday season coming up now.
It flies.
So we will be we'll be tracking towards the end of the year. It's insane. It's insane.
It's crazy to think about that. Yeah, we're at the end.
Yeah.
2026 is knocking at the door.
Yeah, this year flew by.
Flew
by. But we want to bring you some news going on, as always, in Miami. But before we do that, as we know, Hurricane Melissa did pass through Jamaica, Cuba, the Bahamas. Obviously, Jamaica kind of getting the brunt of that storm. So we obviously want to send our condolences to the island of Jamaica. And, I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen some of the pictures, seen some of the aftermath of Melissa. Very unfortunate situation there. I mean, I want to say about 77% of the island is without power. 90% of the infrastructure, especially on the western side of the island, is pretty much completely demolished. So obviously it's a sensitive situation over there. And we definitely want to send our condolences and, provide our assistance however we can, considering the situation over there.
Yeah, a lot of drives going on, sending supplies over there, much needed supplies. Unfortunately, every time one of these storms come through, the islands get affected. They're right in the heart of the Atlantic. So, they always get hit, unfortunately. We've seen a lot with Puerto Rico, we've seen it with Cuba getting hit as well. The Dominican Republic, Haiti, unfortunately, they get a brunt of these storms that form in the Atlantic. So it's important, obviously it's your celebration, but, you got to think of people not, being able to celebrate, people recuperating from this storm, people mourning, the loss of family members that, have happened from this, from the flooding, from the winds.
Absolutely.
So, if any drives going on locally, we'll do our due diligence to find any drives locally, to, give you guys resources to be able to, send supplies and bring supplies to be able to send it over there. So if we come across anything, we will let you guys know. We'll post some links in our bios. But, do your due diligence, find some resources, find some links to be able to, give supplies because, the islands need it right now. They need all the support they can get to be able to, recuperate from this as quick as possible. And, it's going to be a long process for them to kind of, finally reacclimate after all the, devastation of this storm.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, one group to mention, as always, they always provide a ton of relief during these storms, whether that's here locally or in our friends in the Caribbean. But Red Cross Caribbean is a great organization. They do a lot, to provide resources, food, any essential goods, essentially that are necessary for the people down there. So we'll definitely provide the link there for the Red Cross donation area, as well as any goods going on. There will be drives going on pretty much throughout the course of the next couple of weeks and probably months, essentially, to be able to help those people. So definitely encourage you all to assist and help however you can, whether that's through donations, whether that's extra clothes that you may have. I mean, essentially at this point, everything and anything is essential for them, and we're willing to help with whatever we can and whatever we have. So we encourage you all to also do the same.
Yeah. And the good thing is the will of the Caribbean is strong. The people of the Caribbean are very strong. They're strong-willed. They're strong-minded.
Yep.
So I have no doubt they're going to get through this. They're going to get through this, but they definitely need a helping hand. But I know that the Caribbean soul, the Caribbean strength will, carry these people through this time. And, they'll get back to it. They'll find the light back. And,
absolutely.
They'll go back to, doing what they do best. And that's, bringing the culture, bringing the energy, and, making the Caribbean as what makes it as beautiful as it is.
Absolutely. So definitely prayers to them. And, we're hoping for a nice recovery over there.
Absolutely.
But some other news going on here in Miami. I'm sure some of you may have already seen this. I've seen a couple posts on Instagram, but it's a pretty cool concept that the city of Miami is doing. in the ocean. So Miami Beach just launched Concrete Coral, which is an underwater art and reef restoration project backed by $5 million city bond and local nonprofit. So we're building a reef essentially right off the coast here of Miami. We know kind of there's been a lot of issues with the conservation of the reefs here. Obviously, when you have so much foot traffic and pollution, unfortunately, in the oceans, a lot of these reefs are starting to die, right? So we need to do our part to make sure that we can provide life in the ocean, right? Like that's what makes Miami so special. That's what makes Miami so unique. Like we were talking about our friends in the Caribbean. We are essentially right there in the Caribbean as well. So we need to take care of our oceans. We need to take care of our reefs. So this is a project essentially from the city of Miami and a bunch of local nonprofits here that are going to provide a lot of relief. It's going to provide 22 concrete car sculptures. So they're essentially made out of concrete. They're going to place them there at the bottom of the ocean. I'm not too sure what the depth is there, but it's going to be 2,200 new corals grown in the area, which is going to really revitalize some of the oceans near us. So pretty cool project here.
I mean, you've seen a lot of it, across, the last couple of years. You see a lot of these retired Army boats being sunk to provide, these artificial reefs. But they sink these boats, and essentially they become reefs. The fish, the wildlife, all the marine animals,
our ecosystem in that
the
area.
ecosystem, they kind of take over the boat and they create their own artificial reef. Maybe it's not coral, but it's crazy how Mother Nature works, and they essentially turn these old ships, whether it's cars, whether even as simple as a tire, they turned it into their homes, they turned it into reefs, and this is an amazing project to kind of restore the marine life and restore some beauty over there to the ocean, because we all love to snorkel, we all love to see the beautiful colors of the coral, the beautiful colors of the fish, but if there's nothing there that they can call home, we're not going to see it. So it's important to it's a great effort by Miami Beach to bring this project to life and be able to bring some of that beauty of the ocean back. So it's really amazing to see, and it's cool that they're making concrete car sculptures. You're diving down, you see a couple of cars, you're like, are those cars? Like, no, those are the sculptures. It's the reef.
Yeah.
And I'm very, very eager to see how the ecosystem reacts and how those things look. A couple of years from now, when I take my kids out to go see it, I would love to see what those things look like.
Yeah, and, those 22 car sculptures that they're placing essentially are going to create 2,200 reefs.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's a vibrant ecosystem that we're creating. I mean, shoot. If we're able to build all these new apartments here in Miami, why not build some apartments for the fishes down there?
Man, they need build a couple of efficiencies in there. A couple of 2x2s, a little 2x2 bath. So
single family homes,
condos. Give them a home, man. But I definitely love the initiative put forth by our city, our communities to bring back what unfortunately has been affected after so many years.
Absolutely.
We talk about the boat traffic and all that.
Yeah.
But they're doing their part, bringing back the ecosystem, and I think it's going to be important. I think there's going to be a lot of benefits from it.
Yeah,
overall.
And it's another place now that we can go snorkeling, diving. Be able to like, what is it? Bear the fruit of what we plant in the ocean. Not only for the the fish and the ecosystem, but for us too. It's something that we get to enjoy right here in our backyard, which is pretty awesome and epic as well. So props to the city of Miami. Props to all the nonprofits that are involved. It's a great project, and we look forward to seeing that. And some quick other news, more like on the business side. I came across this article here. Miami Fort Lauderdale is ranked 6th nationally in startup deal count in Q3 2025. So essentially, this year alone, we've driven $2.3 billion from local founders, businesses started here in South Florida. So there's a big economic boom right now in South Florida. I think we all can see it. Yeah. Obviously, I think we've seen it since COVID and just this crazy boom going on in Miami. But it's not only just like this boom of external, obviously, companies coming out. It's people here locally that are sourcing and starting their own businesses, which is awesome. It's awesome. We have such a impactful community, such an engaged community, so much different walks of life, right? So to be able to see it not only turn into startups, but also turn into successful businesses here in South Florida. It's great because not only does it help the economy, but it's great to see people being able to start their own thing here locally as well.
I think the entrepreneurial dream is real here in Miami. I think we have a lot of creative minds, a lot of hungry minds that are, willing to do the work. They're not, maybe they don't like they don't like the basic structure
Right.
of, the works life and, the corporate life, and they want to go out and do their own thing. And, credit to them, it's a hard journey, but, we have obviously, as you see by those numbers, there's people succeeding in doing their own thing and, driving their own, ideas and bringing them to life. And Miami is just a great place for booming business. We have so many people. We have so many different areas of interest, so many audiences that are here.
Absolutely.
That, if you pick an audience, they will find you. It's so easy to really, drive traffic here in Miami. So it's amazing to see that, the dream is still alive and it hasn't gone away, and that it's flourishing, down here in our own backyard. We're big supporters of local businesses, in our own right. We love seeing, businesses grow. We love seeing businesses flourish. So the fact that it is, internally, even externally, people bringing their business to Miami, providing more opportunities for everyone, for everyone across our community looking for work, looking for jobs. It's amazing to see that the business is growing, our economics are growing, and that overall, our community in general is growing. So it's amazing to see that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you hit it on the head, right? Like supporting local businesses. I mean, from your local coffee shops to local vendors, right? And whether that's in construction or food sourcing, right? Whatever that may be, there are plenty of options as far as companies that we can source locally here. And I think that's really the key. And if you're thinking of starting something, I think now's the time, right?
Yeah.
Like there's so much opportunity here. Whatever you may have on your mind as far as like starting something of your own, do it, because I think Miami is the place to do things right now.
What do we say? It's the time is never right. You just got to go do it.
Right, you just got to do it.
Never the right
Exactly.
time.
There's never a perfect time.
Never a
but if
perfect
there is
time.
a good time to do it, I would say it's definitely now.
You gotta strike while the iron's hot. And if you see people, and support for local businesses, even from a government level, there's so much support for local businesses to really grow and flourish down here. I think the city loves it. I think the people love it. So if you really want to do it, you just gotta go out there and do it, and really, build something that people can rally behind, and go out there and just put yourself out there. It's the biggest strength. It's hard to do it, but it's achievable. And like we said, the time is never right. The time is now, and just go out there and do it.
Just do it. Just do it. So let us know what you guys want to start. Maybe we can help. Maybe you guys can help us. But we definitely want to hear what you guys have planned as far as startup ideas. I think it's always intriguing to hear new concepts and new ideas into the marketplace, and especially down here in Miami. So definitely want to see that. But outside of that, that's pretty much everything big going on here in Miami. Love to see the economy booming. Love to see the ecosystem and taking care of our own backyard here. And again, of course, taking care of the people in Jamaica. I think that's obviously the main priority right now.
They're the neighbors from
100%. Beautiful island with a ton of life, with a ton of just cultural component to it. Like, it's great to see that people are already willing to help, knowing everything that's happening there. And unfortunately, it's Mother Nature, right? Like, these things happen. It's unfortunate to see it when it happens like that. When we've seen it here happen, obviously, in the state of Florida. We've seen it across pretty much all the Southeast United States. But, to see it in the Caribbean, that's close to home, and the impacts there where, infrastructure is not great, and we know what the situations are there, maybe in certain areas of Jamaica. So definitely go out and help. We'll definitely provide some links for you all. And do whatever you can to help. And hopefully soon we'll have that reef built, so you guys can go swimming in there.
Go swimming in there, go a little snorkeling, see the 2x2s the fish are building.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's got a booming economy onshore and offshore. Who would have guessed, right?
Who would have guessed, man? Miami's crazy. Miami, man, the magic city.
Absolutely. But we'll see you guys Wednesday. We have a great conversation for you Wednesday that I hope you all enjoy. I hope you've enjoyed a lot of the other conversations, helping create insights and just overall, knowledge to the next generation, through the leaders that are currently here in South Florida that are kind of the pioneers, right?
Absolutely.
So tune in this Wednesday for our next episode. And as always, enjoy your cafecito, enjoy your croquetas, and we'll see you next episode.
Have a great week, everybody.